What's going on, everybody? It's your man Diamond K. Of course, this is the Diamond K Show, On Fire Broadcasting, Radio on Fire. Today we're going to talk about Mark Walter because something very unusual is happening with one of the most powerful owners in American sports. The Los Angeles Lakers are being sold again. And we're talking about $12.5 billion. So Joshua Kushner and the former CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, are leading the group that are buying the Lakers from Mark Walter. Joshua Kushner is the brother of Jared Kushner, and I just think that that's important to mention. But if you were thinking, didn't Mark Walter just buy the Lakers? Basically, yes. Walter acquired control of the Lakers about 14 months ago in a transaction that was valued at approximately $10 billion. Now, $12.5 billion. What essentially is a $2.5 billion jump in the headline valuation in little over a year. So purely from a business perspective, you can understand why somebody would take that deal. But there is another part to this story, and this is where things get very interesting. Mark Walter isn't simply a sports owner. He's a major financial executive with a sprawling business empire involving investment management, insurance, private credit, and numerous other businesses. And the federal investigators are looking into parts of that empire. According to multiple reports, federal prosecutors and securities regulators are examining approximately $16 billion in private credit transactions involving insurance companies controlled by Walter. So this, could shine some light on things a bit. Investigators are reportedly examining how some of these transactions were classified and disclosed, and whether certain transactions should have been identified as related party transactions. Now, let me stop right there for a minute, because we've got to be responsible with this. Mark Walter has not been convicted of fraud or any crime. An investigation means investigators are trying to determine what happened. It does not mean somebody's guilty, but when you're talking about approximately $16 billion in transactions being examined by federal authorities, that is significant. And then right in the middle of all this, you're selling the Lakers for $12.5 billion. That's why people are connecting these stories. Obviously, investigations and lawyers, you need money. The question becomes, did he need cash? More than likely, yes, but we don't know for sure. Is this Laker transaction directly connected to the investigation? The timing is very interesting, but we don't know that for sure either. Could Walter simply have received an offer that was too good to refuse? Absolutely. Think about it. You take control of something valued at $10 billion. 14 months later, somebody values it at $12.5 billion. That's an incredible increase. But we're journalists. Our job is not just to repeat a press release. Our job is to look at what's happening around the transaction. And what's happening around this transaction is significant. Walter's financial businesses are facing federal scrutiny. That is nothing to squawk at. That's definitely uncomfortable. And his insurers have been dealing with questions surrounding billions of dollars in financial exposure. significant. And now, Walter is unloading one of the most valuable sports franchises in the world. So naturally, the next question has become, are the Dodgers next? Because remember, Mark Walter is the chairman and controlling owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And if you're a Dodgers fan, hearing that Walter suddenly sold the Lakers, you're probably thinking, hold up, is this man getting out of sports? According to the latest reporting, no. People familiar with Walter's plans say that he has no intention of selling the Dodgers. And that makes sense when you look at what the Dodgers have become under his ownership. Walters Group bought the Dodgers in 2012. Since then, the franchise has become one of the most powerful organizations in baseball. 3 World Series championships in 6 years. Superstar players, massive revenue, and a valuation reportedly around $9 billion. So right now, the Dodgers appear to be staying with Walter, but I am watching the situation closely because here's what makes this story really fascinating. Mark Walter built this image as one of the ultimate sports investors. Dodgers, Lakers, women's basketball, hockey, motorsports, major financial investments. This is a serious empire. And now, suddenly, one of the crown jewels is being sold. Maybe this is simply smart business. Maybe Walter looked at the $12.5 billion and said, take it. But when that transaction happens at the same time, federal investigators are examining roughly $16 billion in financial transactions connected to your businesses, people are going to ask questions, and they should. The important thing is separating what we know from what we suspect. Here's what we know. The Lakers are being sold at a reported $12.5 billion valuation. Walter took control roughly 14 months ago at a $10 billion valuation. Federal authorities are examining billions of dollars in transactions involving Walter-controlled financial businesses. And according to the latest reporting, Walter is not currently planning to sell the Dodgers. Everything beyond that needs evidence. But I'll tell you this Mark Walter story isn't over, not even close. So my question for you is, why do you think Mark Walter is selling the Lakers after only 14 months? Is $12.5 billion simply an offer nobody could turn down? Or do you think the timing of the investigation tells us there's more happening behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. My name is Diamond K. This is The Diamond K Show. And of course, on all social media, I'm at The Diamond K Show. Make sure you visit us on youtube.com/DJ Diamond K, radioonfire.com, and onfirebroadcasting.com.